Okay, welcome back. So today we're going to be making a room where when we enter it, door closes behind us, can't open it. And then when you defeat all the enemies that are in the room, the door will open again and you can leave. So this happens a lot in Zelda. It's a little combat puzzle. And then if you go back in, door closed again. So stick around and let's dive right in. So, diving right in, what I want to do is I want to make this room here have a door that when the player walks into it, closes behind them. And then when the player kills all the enemies in the room, the door will open again. So, a couple things here. First, I just took the door sprite that we already had and I just, flipped it vertically and made a new sprite. I will include a link to that in the description. So what I want to do here is, actually first, I'm going to go to my scripts. And last time, we made a few scripts for different rooms. We made a room general script, an overworld room, and a dungeon room. And now I'll open up dungeon room. I'm going to make a new version or a new script that inherits from that I'm going to call dungeon enemy room. So dungeon enemy room. And I'll open that up in Visual Studio as well. And that's going to inherit from the base, I don't want to give feedback right now, Microsoft, sorry. It's going to inherit from the base dungeon room script. So I'm going to wait for all this to load. Oh, there we go, it's already loaded. So my dungeon enemy room is going to inherit from dungeon room. Okay. Alright, cool. And then dungeon room inherits from plain room, and plain room has enemies and pots, and it should have a trigger object attached to it. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to add to this a list of doors as well. So public door, and I'll call this doors. Okay, and I'm going to be overriding the onTrigger enter and the onTrigger exit to add some extra functionality to it. But what I want to do first here, I won't need my update method, is I'm going to make a method to close all of the doors. So this is going to be I want this to be public void close doors. So this is just going to go through all of the doors that are in that list and set them from open to closed. So I'm going to say for int I is 0, I is less than doors.length, I plus plus, doors I dot close. And then I'm going to make another method to open the doors. So public void open doors for, and then this is just the same thing. It's just instead of opening them, instead of closing them, we're gonna open them. So I'll just copy that and I'll paste it there. And instead of close, I'm gonna call open. All right, cool. Now, what I want to do is I want to have another method. It's going to check to see whether or not the enemies are open. So I'm going to say, whether or not the enemies are alive. So public void check enemies. And what this is going to do is it's going to go through all of the enemies in the room. And since this is inheriting from room, they're just enemies. So I'm going to do for I is 0, I is less than enemies. Oh, did I not make that public over here? No, I did. Dot length I plus plus. Maybe I didn't make sure that dungeon room inherits from room. Nope, I didn't. So this needs to inherit from room. There we go. And if I save this, it should fix that over here. Yep. Okay, so I want to say if enemies I dot is so I don't want to do, I want to do the game object active in hierarchy. So if the enemy's I game object is active in the hierarchy, meaning that that enemy is still active, then I'm going to return. If it's not, if I go through every enemy and none of them are active, then I'm going to open the doors. So open doors. All right, so the methods here that I made one to close all the doors, open all the doors, check all the enemies. I'm going to be using a signal for this, so I'm going to make a reference to that signal. Actually, I'm going to need a signal listener to it. So public signal listener, and this is going to be enemy update is what I'm going to call it. So let me just save all this really quickly. So the idea is in this, I don't want to update right now, Visual Studio. So the idea is in this room, every time I kill an enemy, I'm going to send a signal to the room itself, telling it that that enemy was killed. The room is then going to perform a check to see if all the enemies are dead, and if all the enemies are dead, then it's going to open the door. So yeah, let's go back into, I don't want to sign in right now. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I want to override those on trigger enter and on trigger exits. I'm going to pull all of this. Just going to copy that. And back in here, I'm going to change these from virtual voids to override voids. So this is lowercase override. And then this is an override void as well. And then for that change activation, did I not make that public? I didn't. I'm going to make this a public void. Alright, so back over here. Okay, sorry for that weird cut. So what I want to do here is when the player enters, I'm going to go through, I'm going to activate all of the enemies and all of the pots. The other thing I'm going to do as well is I'm going to close all the doors. Then when the player exits, I don't need to open the doors because the player should only be able to exit if the doors are open. Alright, so don't think I need a start method. Cool. So let's save our script. Let's go back in Unity and let's see what kind of damage we just did. So if I go to my, actually I want to go back to my scenes. I want to make a prefab out of that room so that it's going to be easier for me to use. So I'm going to go back to my overworld scene. I'm going to go to my prefabs. I'm going to create a new folder for rooms, and then in there I'm going to place room 1. Okay, cool. Now if I go back to my scenes and go back to my dungeon, save that before I go. Up here, I'm going to make a variant of room 1. So I'm going to go to my prefabs, my rooms, room 1. I want to, well, let's just pull this in. Alright, so now room 1 I'm going to keep at 0, 0, 0, but I'm going to edit the collider to be where I want my collider to be for this room up here. And again, first I'm just going to kind of eyeball it a little bit, and then I'll change those points in just a no, nobody wants you, tile palette. Alright, so if I take that up there, again, for some reason, after you, oh no, I guess you just have to turn edit off. Man, I'm dumb sometimes. Alright, so point 1, I'm going to put at 730. Cool. Point 2, I'm going to put at -830. 0.3, -8. We'll do 18. Yeah, that looks about right. And then last one we'll put at 8, 18. And so then this first one should have been at 8 as well. Alright, cool. This is a trigger. I'm going to unpack the prefab. And I'm going to call this dungeon enemy room. And the way I'm going to number my dungeon rooms here is this is going to be 1, 2, this will be 3, 4, and 5. So I'll call this 3. Okay. Alright, now I'll get rid of all the pots and logs from here. And I'm going to remove the overworld script. I'm going to replace it with my dungeon enemy room. So, dungeon enemy room. Cool. Alright, so now let's go through these one at a time. So first I'm going to put a couple enemies in here. So I'm going to go to my prefabs, my enemies. Let's just do regular old log. And let's do 3 of these bad guys right in there. Okay, and all 3 of these are going to be children of dungeon enemy room. And they're going to be added to dungeon enemy room's enemy array. So just like that. I'm not going to put any pots in here. For my doors, I'm going to go to my doors, object. So I got my key door. Yeah, I'll grab this and pull this into the room. And then I'm going to need to unpack this prefab. So unpack prefab completely. This is going to become a child of that, and then this is going to be enemy door 1. And then I'm going to need to change a few things here. So first, I want it to be... Hey, get out of here. Sorry for that weird cut. My cats very much want to be a part of this. So I'm going to put its X position at 0.5, and I'll put the Y position at 18. It's not quite right as far as the, I mean, it's right as far as lining up with the previous one, but as far as the way that everything turns out on my collision, no, that'll be fine. Alright. So there we go. I'm also going to take the trigger area and move it up, and then I'm going to change the sprite to be door 2. You could do this in code too. You could just like find out if the what layer the door should be on. Okay. That's weird. Why did it do that? So door 2. Oh, ha. There it is. It's way down there. I forgot to set my pixels per unit to 16. Filter mode to point. Compression to none. And then apply. There we go. Alright, so there's my door. Now if I go to my dungeon room, I want to add that one door here to all my doors. Maybe. That's weird. Enemy door. Oh, because the door is on the it's on the trigger area. Yep. Okay. So then on my dungeon enemy room, add my door there. Okay, what else do I need to do? Okay, so now I need to make that signal for when I destroy an enemy, to have it check to see whether or not it should open the door. So I'm going to go to my signals, my room signals. I'm going to create a new folder for dungeon signals. And then in here, I'm going to create a new signal. I'm going to call this enemy deactivate room. No, it's room 3, isn't it? Okay. So room 3. Now the good thing about the signal is I can add this to my base enemy script, so that way when the enemy dies, it sends out the signal. If there's no listeners, it's not going to have a null reference exception error because it's just sending a signal out to nobody. It doesn't need to know who's picking up the signal. It just needs to know that it needs to send a signal out. So I'm going to go to my base enemy script next here. Actually, before I do that, my dungeon enemy room, I'm going to add my I did that wrong. I added the signal listener in here, and I shouldn't have. So let's get rid of the signal listener there. It's been a while since I made a new signal. And instead, I'll add it as a component. There we go. So the signal it's listening for is enemy deactivate room 3. As soon as Unity's done compiling, there we go. And my response is going to be from here, and the response is going to be from the dungeon enemy room script, and it's going to be check enemies. There we go. All right, cool. Now I'm going to go to my base enemy script. Do I have that one open already? I do. Sweet. So I'm going to add a signal for when it gets destroyed. So header death signals, because I might want to have some other signals. I'm going to have a public signal, and we'll call this like room signal. All right, cool. And then when we're taking damage, before we set it inactive, we're going to do room signal dot raise. Cool. All right, saving that here. I'm going to go back into Unity. I'm going to grab my logs, and I'm going to add their signal to their, as soon as it updates. There we go. So I'm going to add this to the room signal. All right, great. Now, let's try this out. All right, so I wonder, does my player have any keys right now? Because I might have not given the player any keys to start with. Oh hey, that enemy's here from earlier. Oh, no. No, that's all of my enemies. That's weird. Oh, I didn't give them home positions, that's why. Alright, so this log's home position isn't 0, 0. It should be, we'll set it 5.5 and 20.5. And then we'll set that in the script, 5.5, 20.5. And then this one's home position is, we'll say 5.5 and 27. And then we'll say this one's is -5 and 27. All right, now I need to set those. And this one is 5.527. Alright, cool. So now let's give it a try. So if I hit play, they should still be where they're supposed to be. Alright, cool. There they are, sleeping away. So let me go up here, open the door, turn on that switch. Oh, hey, that's an issue. Well, I guess it wasn't an issue there. So, can't exit. I left that door as a key door. Alright, let's change it. So, dungeon enemy room, type is enemy. Alright, cool. And I'll save that again. Let's try this again here. Alright. Okay, so open the key door, open the switch door, into the dungeon. This one doesn't open, but let's try killing us some enemies. So there we go. There's that one, there's that one. Door's still not open. Alright. So, did not open the door. Why not? Okay, so let's find out here really quickly. Okay, so sorry about that weird cut. So here's what's happening. So when the enemy is dying, before we set it inactive, which we have to because an inactive game object can't do anything, we're raising the signal. But that means that when we're checking on the signal in the dungeon enemies, we're going through and checking on it before it was set inactive. So of course it's going to read that last one as being active, and it's going to return out of this, and then like in the next frame it's going to turn inactive. So what I want to do is I want to add a little extra check here in the dungeon enemy room script. So I want to say if enemies.gameObject.active in hierarchy and I is less than enemies.length -1. So if it's the second to the last one. If it's the last one that's sending up the flag, then of course it's going to be active, but we're going to open the doors anyway. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to pop back into Unity here, and let's give this a try. So I'm going to hit play, and yeah, let's dive right in here as soon as, cool. Alright, so opening the key door, opening the switch door, up into the enemy door, destroy that enemy, destroy this one, and then let's destroy this one, and there we go, door opened. You can have this be accompanied by a sound and stuff too. So there we go. I'm going to go back up in here, and it didn't close the doors. Why didn't it close the doors? Alright, let's take a look here. On trigger enter 2D. We want to close all the doors. Door.close. And I want to look at the door script really quickly here. Oh, it's because I never added anything for close in the door script. So I'm going to save this really quickly. And then I'm going to grab all of that door open stuff here. I'm going to paste it there. And I'm just going to do the opposite. So I'm going to make the door true. I'm going to say open is false. And the physics collider is enabled. There we go. So let me save that. Let's go back into Unity. Let's try this out. And there's a lot of stuff that you can do to make this better. You can make like a noise happen when that door opens. I know we haven't covered sound at all yet in this tutorial series. Oh, my inventory must be out of keys. So where's my player stuff? There it is. My inventory. I'm gonna give myself like 100 keys. Cheat codes. Alright, there we go. And then I'm going to turn this off. Go up here. 1, 2. 1, 2. And then over here. 1, 2. and it didn't open the door. Okay, why not? Grr. Okay, so sometimes I'm really dumb. So in my on-trigger enter 2D, where I put closed doors, it's outside of where we're checking to see if it's the player's physics collider, which means that every single trigger, or every single collider that enters is triggering this. So I'm just gonna cut that from there, and I'm gonna paste it up there. So I'm gonna save this, go back to Unity here. Now let's try it. So, this is going to be a really choppy video. Sorry in advance, but we're getting far enough along with this project that, like, even if you know what you're doing and have notes written for yourself, like I do, you're going to be making, like, there are mistakes that could be made, and you need to know how to roll with it. So, apologies if you're not a big fan of this. So yeah, all right. So I've got my. There we go. Now it opened like it's supposed to. Let's go back out. Let's go back in. Door closed again. So, oh, hey. Somebody had told me this was happening, that things weren't working like they were supposed to. This is weird. Why? So, like, the log here is active, but its behavior isn't working. I'll have to fix that next episode. So this was, somebody had warned me that this was happening in the overworld, but I didn't have a chance to check on it. That when you come back, they're just kind of sitting there. So we'll fix that next, but, well, not next, time after next. Next time we're going to be changing our camera system a bit to be much more flexible and not need these room transfer objects. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And you can follow me on Twitter, join my Discord. Tons of super people on my Discord who are way more knowledgeable than I am. So yeah, everybody out there, have yourselves a wonderful day. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving a like, subscribing to the channel, or telling a friend who might be interested. Also, please consider following me on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can earn access to tangible rewards, like early access to videos, backer-only videos and series, polls for future topics, streams, and even individual tutoring sessions. You can find a link to that in the description. And as always, have yourselves a wonderful day.